The meaning of a fleet. The first alien fleet appeared at the edge of human space like a judgment written in fire. Thousands of warships emerged from folded space in perfect formation. Sleek, predatory hulls bristling with weapons, their engines burning with disciplined aggression. They did not rush. They advanced slowly, deliberately, confident in numbers refined by centuries of conquest. To them, fleets were statements. The larger the fleet, the truer the statement. Humanity watched in silence. For years, humans had been underestimated. They had fought defensively, negotiated relentlessly, and withdrawn when victory cost too much. Alien historians recorded these behaviors as caution. Alien admirals recorded them as weakness. So the invasion came prepared to teach a lesson. Then Earth answered. Human fleets did not surge forward in chaotic response. They assembled with quiet precision. Warships rose from orbital docks, moon bases, and deep space shadows, heavy cruisers, carriers, and massive battleships whose designs were unlike anything the galaxy had seen. They were not elegant. They were serious. Human warships were built like truths you could not argue with. Layered armor wrapped their hulls like geological strata, forged from ancient alloys and modern science. Every surface was angular, purposeful, scarred by intention. Engines burned with controlled fury, not spectacle. Weapons were recessed, hidden, disciplined. This fleet was not made to intimidate. It was made to endure. As the two armadas closed distance, alien sensors struggled. Human ships registered as heavier than they looked, denser than physics allowed. Gravitational readings flickered. Targeting systems hesitated, as if unsure where the ships truly were. The alien fleet transmitted first, demands layered with threats, promises of mercy wrapped around extinction. The human reply was brief. We acknowledge your presence. That was all. The fleets continued to approach, stars bending slightly between them as space grew tense with stored violence. Human commanders studied the enemy not with fear, but with focus. Every ship knew its place. Every vector was planned. Every loss was already accepted. This was the meaning of a human fleet. Not overwhelming firepower alone, not domination for its own sake. A fleet was a promise to each other, to their world, to the future, that no matter what arrived from the dark, humanity would meet it together. As weapons across both armadas began to charge, power levels climbing toward inevitability, one truth became clear to every mind watching the silent advance. The aliens had brought a fleet to conquer. Humanity had brought a fleet to decide the outcome. And when those two purposes collided, the stars themselves would remember which one mattered more. Collision of intent. The alien warship had advanced silently through the void, its massive form pulsing with alien energy. Every visible surface shimmered with colors impossible to name, from emerald green to violet streaks, while its engines bled light into the surrounding nebula. Humanity had faced threats before, but nothing of this magnitude. Every sensor across the human fleet trembled under the readings. Mass, energy, and velocity beyond comprehension. The human command, however, remained calm. Years of preparation, decades of ingenuity, and centuries of survival had culminated in this moment. The 12 battleships aligned like a wall of dark, monoliths against the alien colossus. But it was the single flagship, a leviathan of dark alloys threaded with radiant energy veins that drew every eye. Unlike the aliens, whose power was showy and chaotic, the human vessel exuded precision. Its angular armor reflected nebula light, shimmering with blues, golds, and pale white highlights as if the ship itself were alive with contained power. As the two forces closed distance, space itself seemed to obey the humans. Gravitational fields subtly shifted around the flagship, bending light, curving star trails, and warping alien trajectories. Missiles fired from the alien warship struggled to find vectors. Beams of energy refracted unpredictably, failing to strike their target. Every strike dissolved in warped space-time, leaving alien commanders increasingly frantic. Then the human flagship moved. Not with thrusters, not with conventional engines, but with inevitability. Space flowed around it, carrying it forward like a tide, while its energy veins pulsed brighter, a quiet declaration of absolute dominance. Alien ships nearest the flagship began to glitch, their frames elongating unnaturally before folding in on themselves and vanishing without a sound. Entire sections of the alien hull blinked out of existence, leaving gaps so clean it was as if they had never existed. A single, calm transmission pierced the chaos. You have violated the threshold. Withdraw immediately. The alien warship system screamed in defiance, attempting one final volley of coordinated fire. The flagship did not respond. Instead, it advanced further, every movement deliberate, every inch closing like the slow pressure of inevitability. The alien vessel shuddered, energy conduits flickering, structural integrity failing under unseen pressure. Then, as though the universe itself intervened, the ship stretched, warped and vanished, leaving no debris, no record, only empty space. Silence fell. The human fleet remained in position, calm and unreadable. Around them, the stars returned to their natural positions, light bending slowly back to normal. Earth was untouched. The galaxy had witnessed a quiet, devastating truth. Humanity's patience was a weapon far deadlier than firepower, and the cost of misjudging it could erase worlds. The echo of patience. The void was silent after the disappearance of the alien warship. Not a single explosion marked its erasure, only an emptiness that pressed against the senses, a reminder that something extraordinary had occurred. Human fleets maintained formation, their engines humming softly, energy veins glowing faintly along their hulls. There was no celebration, no victory broadcast. Humanity did not need to declare dominance. The universe had already understood. Earth hung below them, radiant and untouched. Blue oceans gleamed under sunlight, continents shimmered, and clouds drifted lazily in the atmosphere. From the human fleet's perspective, the planet seemed impossibly fragile, yet fiercely resilient, a jewel worth the sacrifice of every line drawn in space. Commanders aboard the flagship watched quietly as orbiting satellites and defense platforms realigned, ready for whatever might come next. News spread faster than fleets could move. Alien civilizations that had observed the battle, some survivors of distant armadas, recorded the event in their histories with disbelief. Entire fleets had vanished without a trace, their weapons rendered useless, their systems corrupted by forces beyond understanding. The message was simple. Humanity did not need to fire to be invincible. Patience, precision, and restraint were weapons no conventional armament could match. Admirals across the galaxy began reconsidering their doctrines. Strategies that once relied on overwhelming numbers now seemed reckless. Plans for conquest were rewritten overnight. Treaties previously negotiated out of fear or politics were now approached with a new reverence. The human fleet's silent demonstration had shifted the balance of power without firing a single shot. Meanwhile, on the human flagship, crew members moved methodically. There was no arrogance in their actions, no prideful celebration. Every maneuver, every system check, every pulse of energy veins across the hull was executed with purpose and calm. The galaxy could be terrifying, full of unknowns, but humanity's patience had been proven. Slow, deliberate, and unstoppable when it mattered. In the following weeks, scattered alien probes attempted to return to human space. None survived. Even automated ships hesitated at the threshold, unable to predict where the human fleet might appear next. Humanity had created not just a fleet, but a boundary, a lesson etched into the fabric of space itself. The flagship, after several rotations around Earth, prepared to slip into dark space, leaving behind a galaxy that had learned a fundamental truth. Humans were patient, precise, and inexorably resilient, not for conquest, not for glory, but for survival. And the universe, vast and indifferent, had no choice but to remember. As the 12 battleships vanished into the stars, the galaxy carried a single, undeniable fact. When humanity acted, it did not merely fight. It decided the terms of existence, and that decision was a